Hey, good morning. It is Boogie with the Bull Uncensored, the first broadcast of 2025, a ceremonial event. Hang on for just a second. I have to step away from my desk for a second. I will be right back. I'm not going to.
In the meantime, I'll take over.
In the meantime, I'm back.
I was trying to do a Julius Caesar. Oh.
Okay.
So Michael sits in the green room.
Michael sits in the green room, and Michael will be with us
Hey,
momentarily because Michael. Whoops! Wait a minute. Randy said, "Hey, Mrs. Globin," and
came from the office.
She came from the office, and I'm going to thank my wife, Donna Globin, because she is the best chair re-putter back together, whatever the words are, in the business, because I continuously get up out of my chair and I lean on the left arm and I snap it out and get all frustrated because I can't figure out how to put it back together. And Donna does a fantastic job. And on that note, with us, we have Michael Anthony from Oracle Radio Network, also some access to iHeartRadio and some other fascinating networks. Michael Anthony's own broadcasts, disclosing Uncensored, Bigfoot, Paranormal, and so many others that I actually cannot remember. And one of these days, we'll let Michael come on and just tell all the broadcasts that he is on. I have a question for you later once we get started, Michael. Let me go to Randy, let Randy pop in his opening statement, and then we will get this thing started.
Excellent. I'm glad to see Michael has joined us. I do also have questions for Michael. That's right up his alley, and he's going to be so happy to answer my questions because he's going to give me a gold star for being observant. But I also want to say he's a tough cookie.
Professor Anthony is passing out the gold stars.
I also want to say thank you to the two new people who have joined my genealogy services. I am now fully booked, so there would be no need for anyone to sign up for right now. Anyways, so I am fully booked. I'm very pleased with that. Starting off the new year with new people searching their families. The one individual is in a hurry because of family circumstances, so I'm going to do a really great job for her and her family, so something they can remember. But other than that, Michael, take it away. And I got some questions for you, dude.
All right, hit me with the question.
Well, first introduce yourself. We'll tell the people what you do and what you're famous at and where they can find you, and then I'll ask you the question, okay?
All right, what do? I do everything. That's what I do. Who am I? I'm the guy on Facebook that you could try to friend, but probably won't have no success at that. But if you want to give it a shot anyway, indulge. Michael Anthony Facebook, and you can follow from there.
That's short, brief.
I'm not trying to be rude. It's like
you're also a minister. You're also a minister. You are a professional person who knows about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, the orbs, the spiritual orbs. You also a great knowledge of the UFOs, aliens, the various levels of the aliens, the different colors, what they. I know there's a hierarchy of the aliens, and you know all about that good stuff. You have great contacts with people in the world who know these things. I know you have some upcoming broadcasts about whistleblowers and things that are going to absolutely blow our minds as to what we did not know or we'll know now with Michael. But, I will say that, folks, just so you know, clear disclosure here, 5 years ago or so, maybe not 5 years, but several years ago when I first started watching Michael, I thought he was nuts. I really, truly, I thought he was crazy about what he was talking about, the different things about the drones, the aliens, the UFOs, ghosts, and all that he does. But you know what? My mindset has changed 360 on that with what I'm seeing today in the past couple years coming out, the final disclosures from our own government, the Pentagon, other governments, proven what Michael has been saying all these years I've known him are absolutely 100% true and spot on. And please take everything he says seriously. He knows what he's talking about.
Now, before Michael jumps in, I'm going to jump in with something that people don't know about Michael. It's a very positive thing, Michael, so don't think I'm going to rip you a new one or anything. Michael is a very well able master chainsaw, I guess totem pole is the word I'm going to use, maker. And I mean, if you are serious about this, I don't know if Michael is still doing it, but you will see pictures of, I mean, fantastic work that he has done holding a chainsaw in his hand and going through, I guess, a tree trunk.
And he still has all 10
if you
fingers.
ever have it- Yes.
Yeah,
and 10 toes.
that too, and a head.
And if you ever have any desire for that kind of artwork for anywhere, whether you collect it or you want it in your front yard for any particular reason or in your house for any particular reason, please talk to Michael. And with any further ado, Professor Michael Anthony is with us this morning. And I mean professor respectfully.
Well, hey, I feel like I'm being roasted. Jesus. God, Randy,
No, I'm very,
did you write that at?
Serious.
No, I didn't. That's from the heart, dude.
Well, I appreciate it. I do. It's humbling. The whole thing is you work to do the best you can. And within that, there's things that we'll all have to deal with, that we do deal with, but it's up to people to have, the awareness of the bigger picture. This is not all political by any means. It is because the components used that way. Something's narrating this whole scenario with a forward guidance of the book of the Revelations. And it's biblical content and the creation by man, making sure that everything takes place within certain time frames. It's all been written out. We're only living it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you look in the last couple of chapters of the Bible, especially Revelation, some of the things that the man wrote that was God inspired is coming out and is being brought to our to the forefront now. Like with the Bible talks about the giants. There were giants back in the day, and that they walked with man. And here, and I've said before on one of my shows where I was showing the various magazines that I subscribe to help me with my own broadcasts and my own research, the Smithsonian's and so forth. They said, "Hey, look, here are footprints." Of it's like 10, 15 feet long. Here's a bones and a head of a person who obviously was a giant because the size of the bone structure and so forth, and all aged at a point where normal humans lived at the same time that these giants also roamed our earth. The dinosaurs. There's footprints now being found where the dinosaurs are walking along with the humans, perhaps not as pets, but certainly during the same time frame. And it talks about chariots of fire and describes all that good stuff. And we see the various drones and so forth flying through space, and some of them have the appearance of a chariot on fire. There's so much going on right now that is reminiscent of what we've read or been taught in Bible school, and it's amazing what is coming out.
Yeah,
now, Regina brought up yesterday a question that I honestly couldn't answer, Michael, so I'm glad you're here this morning. She said something about the size of dinosaurs. Were men
Yeah.
the same size? Were they giants? Did we over time lose them? And it was just the dinosaurs? Go ahead and give the answer.
Well, between Randy and your question, it's going to be hard to navigate through it all. But as I said in my opening comment, was there's a navigation system going on here, and that's what's out there. So if you look into the facts of the pictures, the archaeological finds, there are positive references to facts and truth. Also being mentioned in, Genesis, Enoch, Revelations, and many others. Even now that we're finding other things like documentation that also puts in the place, takes us back to the place of where, geez, you put that up, and it just like took my mind out of the equation of where I was headed. Yeah, I got footprint pictures that a man could lay in. That's the truth. And what created that? Why did it happen like that? But it did. We know that these things existed. Now, can we confirm actually that we have found, skeletal remains that actually can prove that man was 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, 100 foot tall? Maybe there was a time that had a certain existence here, but we would have to look through remedying a lot of what's called catastrophical geologies, because we're only able to lidar so far down to find certain things, and there's many we're never in our lifetime ever going to see. There's thousands and thousands of evidence is out there, but again, it would probably take us to penetrate much deeper than what is an affordable product for anybody to be able to find, have, or use. But when the government comes into play with the billions and trillions in expenses, there no cost is too much. So they do have technologies. They're well aware of things, including cities under the oceans and everything else.
Mike, I want to interrupt you. Isabel Amy is someone that you know, and her and I have been talking. And Dave, I just sent her a link. She is a phenomenal person, very intelligent, highly book read. I guess is a good way to say it, but she's a friend of Michael's. I think she'd be a great asset to the show for today, especially with the topics we're talking about. So I just sent her a link. So she should be joining us momentarily.
Okay.
Well, remember, she's on the other side of the world. I don't know what her day entails, but just saying, she could be out and about. I don't know. If she joins, that's great. So, this is parts of where I was going. What I was trying to say was, there's so much more that Big Brother knows about that they will ever share. The direction, the navigation, the education, pharma, healthcare. I mean, these all tie in and correlate with a placement of where humanity will be at some point. So, what we need to do now is voice more to the president, letting him know our concerns, keeping him aware that we're not going to let down, even from giving him certain thoughts of commands of what we want to see within the changes of the government, because of the ill effects that the previous for many years were indoctrinating us to, and basically destroying humanity. So these are key components, and that's why Kennedy's there to cover some of these things that pertain to the vax and all the new mRNA, whatever you call it, components going in, and fetal aborted cells and everything else. And so when you combine and you put all these things together, there is a direct plot against humanity, without a doubt. Last night, yesterday afternoon in New Orleans, we have another incident where, 10 people were killed, 30 are injured, 2 officers hit, possible bombs. You have the FBI saying it's not terroristic. of a connection. But at the same time, the mayor and the police officials are seeing it that way. It makes you wonder why they are trying to over navigate what the local law enforcement had witnessed firsthand before anybody else even got there to make a determination. And that's part of the other scenario problem. If we can do anything to hush the system up a little bit more, we'll put our input in, we'll make it seem more calm. These are not commonalities of a new norm that we will accept. What is triggering all these components? What has influenced these components? And it might be Montauk. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term or what it means, or monarch. I mean, but these are dark placements where they take children out of schools and start putting them through a governmental education to prepare them into the world to take care of this trickery. Same with the gentleman that tried to take the fatal shot at the president. He was involved in other things. This is what people aren't understanding. This is what people must place themselves within the parts of the information, because it's all connected, including what you're seeing in the skies. And 99% of it is really ours. There is a small percentage of extraterrestrial life out there. We've had proof of that on Holloman Air Force Base with the president. I mean, we know the deals have been made. Were they placed because technology was more important than humanity? Most likely, because again, it was a direct way for them to correlate the system to navigate us into this system that they have created. Trump's going to have a hell of a time these 4 years, no matter what anybody thinks. And I know he's coming in with power, influence, and a lot of great ideas. But we, as a civilization and citizens of America, need to stop the aerosol sprays. We need to stop the poisoning of the foods, the demandings of the vaccinations, and all these other things. And I think that will take us, but we got to make him aware our concerns are more and is just as important as the integrity of how he repairs America.
Okay, let me just jump in for a second. Dr. Isabel Amy has joined us. I know that she works with Michael a lot, and they have done several broadcasts together. Make sure you catch them. Michael, do you want to give an introduction on Amy? Excuse me, on Isabel?
She's a beautiful soul. She's well-educated, well-informed, and she's a rock star at life. And no matter what she touches, turns to gold.
Wow.
Take that to the bank.
Writing that to my dad.
Take that to the bank.
Wow. We'll have to send you a copy of the broadcast so that you can send that to anybody else that wants you on a broadcast, Doctor.
Yeah, but these are topics that I love, so thank you for inviting me on this New Year Day.
Okay.
Yes, Happy New Year to you, dear.
And
everybody out there, out there.
Dr. Amy, I want you to give us some of your background, and then you take it for the next 10 hours.
So let's just call me a nature integrated being. That was very important. Tree was my first word. So I've come in for a few lifetimes to look after this planet in various ways. This time I'm a mama of 3. I wrote a PhD about how to get children to be stewards of nature. So it's always been about this connection of our divine source in our physical body. How do we do that? How do we facilitate that in the people around us? So I've worked with children for years, teaching them. And I've also worked as a landscape architect. So this natural integration is very important. And because of that, my mind, I'm Sagittarian, we like to think expansively, visionarily, and look at the root truths of everything as far as I can uncover. So various gifts of being able to see, dead people and interdimensional entities, it's all kind of come together in the last year, 2024, of seeing beings that I'm calling inner earth beings, that traditionally perhaps would have been called ETs, but they're more intraterrestrial than extraterrestrial. And I think we'll find out a lot more of our so-called ET presence has been resident on this realm for a long time. And yes, we do have a spherical planet, but we also have a multidimensional planet. And this is what we're starting to become more aware of. And I believe it's because all of those nasty controllers have been affecting us for so long. But now they're affecting the inner earth beings to an extent that they are making their presence known through people like myself and all the friends and people I come across.
Yeah, you said you see dead people. So can you expound on that a little bit more? For example, I've told Michael on his show a couple of times and some other shows. My mom has been gone, I guess maybe 15, 20 years now. And every so often, more often than not, and only at nighttime when I'm trying to sleep, several things happen. First off, my mom was a heavy cigarette smoker. I mean, she was like 4 or 5 packs a day. Um, I'll wake up absolutely choking, trying to get my air. And I'm smelling my mom's cigarette, her Salem 100s. And it's just absolutely engulfed my head. I can't breathe. There are other times where I'll smell her perfume. She had a perfume she loved, and she always wore it. So I'll smell her perfume, and every now and then, again more now than then, I'll wake up to her voice calling out my name, and only the way that she could, as a mom to a child, trying to keep me out of trouble. I'll wake up to her calling out my name. Uh, so is that something that you're talking about as far as you see dead people, or how do you react to that, or relate to that kind of thing?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's two different things at least, like everything, there are all these layers that we're starting to really lay out in a more visible way. So you've got the person who's just died, who has a presence, very often will be seen by a lot of people at their funeral. That's one kind of thing. You've got the beauty of someone who, through love, wants to keep contact, and so will use some kind of signal, like your mom, with the scent or the cigar smoke to kind of pierce through into your reality from her dimensional zone. Because I don't think we ever stop loving. I don't know if you've ever tried to stop loving someone you love. It's kind of impossible. Maybe for 2 seconds you can stop loving them. So there's that, the other dimensional being who has transitioned, who has died, making contact back again through the consciousness field. And then there's another thing, which is the residual spirit of the ghost. So I was just telling to beautiful women who speak to fairies and see them, and inner earth beings, essentially. And I was just talking about this experience staying in a famously haunted pub on Dartmoor in southwest England. And only in the morning, when I woke up, having seen 3 of these ghosts, and it was quite terrifying, did I read the chart in the pub hallway saying all the different ghosts that were there. So that's a kind of residual energy trapped into a layer of our astral plane that's quite near to our perception. And that's where we get this kind of echo play. So a ghost, like an ET, is not just one thing.
I would love to research that pub that you're talking about. Can you tell me the name of it so I can research it?
Remember the name. If you put in haunted pub on Dartmoor, you'll get the pub's name. In fact, a friend of mine and I cleared the pub, so hopefully they're not there anymore, because it was an old pirate who was terrifying a woman who had died, the child who had died. They actually weren't related, but this woman was desperately trying to protect this child from the very scary energy of this pirate guy who had a very bad reputation. And that's what terrified me too. That's why I woke up and we had some prayerful discussions.
So now it's been a while since I've had my experience with my mom. If that should occur again, should I reach out to her? I mean, I had one person say I should light 3 white candles for 3 days, and that's going to cleanse my house, or at least cleanse the room. I mean, I don't want to. You see, obviously there's documentaries, there's movies that can be true or not true. So, do I want to reach out to her to find out why she's still that she's not in heaven or wherever she was going to wind up at? Why she's not at peace? Why is she coming to me and me only? Or should I try to do something to prevent her from coming back and reaching out to me?
Okay, well, definitely at least two things. Let's start with the one of do you need protection? There are, as we know, there are a lot of levels of deceptivity in everything. You know, we have a deep state running all kinds of things. We don't know anything about politicians anymore. We just assume they're all corrupt. Everything is occulted. So when you get a visitation from someone, you do need to find out who that is. A friend of mine, brilliant woman who can see all kinds of things, Oksana Buchanan, she lives in Florida. And when she learned this method from a brilliant Italian who would travel through the astral realms and bring back fragments of soul and integrate. And he said, you must touch the being. You touch the being. This is through your mind. And you ask them, you command them, what are you? Because there are a lot of deceptive games. Maybe another entity. So you do that first. That's a mental operation, however way you want to do that. If you want to light candles because you feel comfortable, do that. But that's very important. And you measure your feelings. How are you feeling? I would say if it is your mama, which it probably is, because she's coming through, doesn't mean that she's not in heaven. It's like, here I am. I'm in Somerset. I'm in England. I am miles from you guys. Yet I'm coming through this strange thing known as broadband Wi-Fi, undersea cables, and maybe some satellite bouncing. And I'm coming through because it's cool and fun and lovely to chat with minds like yours. So why should not someone who is now in a different dimensional role come through to visit and see? And perhaps you're the most sensitive person in your family, and that's why you're the contact.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I rely on the doctor's expertise, but I mean, I look at things, you know, trapped in loop, also trapped in this atmospheric recording of possibilities. I also look into the quantum and spiritual quantum. Not a lot of people look at that part of it, that the possibility of spiritual in existence, which means if you take a situation and you place it somewhere and you see it with your own eyes in a visual manner, that it can be acting different somewhere else and you don't know it. And that's part of how the quantum expansion spirituality really is. And we know that through testings from hot to cold and AI technologies, you know, super AI technologies that are now taking place, that we can watch other movements, even though you're not seeing it occur, but the sensors are picking up on a vibration, even though it shows no signs of it doing so. So if there's dimensional aspects of other existences, they may be tapping this ether, the same as cryptozoology, when people were saying, oh, I saw, you know, Bigfoot, but then it vanished and so forth. So it's a fabric of something breaking in, or maybe an intelligence. So I look at things in a way that way, I would just say. And I have 100 other ways of explaining it, but I don't want to take up, you know, this ain't all about me. And I know you're searching for answers. I can hear them in your questions. So I'll let you just, you know,
something here. I had a conversation with a brilliant woman, Lucy Howard, 2 nights ago. I'm working on that video right now. She has been looking into consciousness. What is it? I had a conversation with a small gray recently, telepathic conversation, because I was curious. I saw it. It was one of the orbs that appeared. I examined it, realized it wasn't one of the inner earth beings. I had a telepathic conversation. And he talked about how they are knitting energy into the energetic framework of our matrix reality, pulling it in. Now, people in this audience will know the relationship that's been made between small grays and the reptilian, or whatever we call the controlling race that has dominated our particular life experience here. And what Lucy and I were discussing was the nature of the true organic source, which is my word for all of creator, prime creation, God, whatever you want to use. Source connected reality through our consciousness, our fully activated human consciousness, was the originator of creation here. And we're starting to come back to that by having these kind of expansive conversations and investigations. But when that was cut off from us, when we were no longer able to have that full creation consciousness as humans, someone else took up the slack and we became their little slaves. And who were that? It was this overreaching hierarchical structure with the greys as their little operators. If you imagine, we're moving into a phase where, let's call it the parasite race or the reptilian controlled grey paradigm, is being dissolved by this re-emergence of the human connectivity to the greater source. We're creating something very different. That means that in the old universe, when an energy was trapped, it was trapped in a framework energetically. When you bring your creative force, power, awareness through from source, the infinite creation, everything becomes much more malleable. And the interaction between these different densities is different. The reason I wanted to bring that image in of the little greys talking about knitting in energy into our reality, and this new awareness of we as fully activated human beings in concert with source and in communication with all of creation, that's the new paradigm we're shifting into. It's what enables us to see this 1% of the drones that are not military based, not deep state created, but they're some other dimensional being. And we're shifting into that, which means we're much more powerful on every level. So when you have an appearance by your mama, or you hope it's her, now you can trust more that when you pose that question and you get the answer, you get a feeling in your heart that it is her or it's not. You have much more power in this situation. So we've learned to bring ourselves into the greater power, full integration. It's not just nature, it's
Right.
everything that was created.
Now, you mentioned about the little grays. Are you referring to what I've been seeing since I started getting more interest in this? And I think Dave, as well as Jerry's, been getting very interested in the various things going with the drones and the aliens and all the stuff that's happening in our world right now. I'm inundated on my browser with all these little videos, and there's a couple I follow and Michael has indicated they're reliable sources, but he talks too about the various aliens races, the Greys, uh, and then you have something that's I forget what he called it, but they're a taller alien. Then you had this one that's like a reptilian alien. And I think that the reptilian alien is the one supposedly in charge of all the others because of his size, of his strength, and so forth. So when you're talking about the Greys, are you referring to the Greys that I'm familiar with as far as alien creatures?
Yeah, so we've talked about, you can read lots from Elena Danan's book on aliens where she kind of documented, and I've been on and off with Elena Danan, but she's got a good solid base, and to many other people who are documenting all these different kinds of greys, the Maitreya greys, but these little ones seem to be of a hive mind. When I converse with them, they said they're kind of an asexual race. Some people have called them a robotic race, so they seem to be a manufactured type of a cloning.
Yeah, I've heard, I've seen that. They're the ones that, and recent, I said to Michael as well that, you see these videos, and I hope a small portion of what I've been seeing is actual in reality of an alien spaceship that's either crashes or gets shot down by our military. And I'm thinking to myself, how can these people, these creatures, fly millions of light years in this spacecraft that's so far beyond ours, somehow crash their ship? I think it was Michael or someone else who said that some of these crashes are deliberate because they want to leave behind the technology for us to pick apart and make use of for ourselves so we can get to a higher level of abilities to fly ships. And then I asked the question, well, if these are flown by beings, uh, why would they sacrifice their people? And I think it was Michael, and please, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong. You're the one who said, like she's saying now, is they may be robotic, that they're not actual like flesh and blood and the ability to think for themselves. They're actually like robots that are are sacrificed for the better being of their race.
Well, that's where the term bots comes from, if you ask me. I'm just saying that's how I look at it. Artificial intelligence, they're expendable. If in fact, we understand some of the reports, not redacted, not freedom of information, but actual reports in the 1950s of subject matter right path that was taking place into the new technologies and the realm of technologies, which takes us back to the occupied, not only by man, but by being. Things that had taken place, things that were placed now being navigated. Yes, we are extracting things also, as mentioned, in a statement from the doctor. And, how is this working? How are we extracting? These new quantum computers systems seem to be able to tap into other now dimensions. And they're getting answers and responses to what we have nothing on record about. So there are things going on around us, and I think that's the big race for the technology. Man wants to know more, as well as government wants to know more, but it all comes back to me, my concern. Why? Why is this all important? Is it to protect humanity into the future? Is it to create more divide? And discernment and the way we live? And look at the activities that went on in New Orleans last night. Just that. There are things that are in place. There are programs that were always in control, especially the mind control programs and Montauk and all these things, and the space program. So when you get into this is I'm looking at the artificial intelligence infused with the humanity, transhumanisms, and the certain orange juices and pickle juice, whatever you want to call it, that also is now placing systems of a down into our society. So I'm looking at this in a very large scope. I know I'm not getting to any conclusive answer here, but I think some of these things are the good parts of the facts. And when we go back in time, and we really listen to the people that were closest to the points in time doing the investigational work, they are the ones that were opening the doors, looking under the rocks more closely than anybody that walks into these places looking now for what could be left over of any information at all. So we're not always getting proper. So I always try to give people guidance to the ones who were the front, the people that opened the doors, just like the Beatles opened rock music to America. Same kind of scenario in my mind thought, if that makes any sense.
So let's bring it more home, more earthly.
Can I just bring something in here, because there is a danger we will label AI fabrication robotic race, which they're not, and we need to be careful. I think the two things I want to bring in, just Peter Moon's latest published book. I cannot remember the author, who wrote about the Roswell landings and what they actually were, and the reason for the way they were covered up and presented to us as the public. And yet these three-dimensional grays do exist. So we were told it was little gray aliens in those ships. I'm just going to leave Peter Moon is the publisher. Go and have it. And when I spoke to that little guy, that little gray, he said, we have souls. So we need to also, like everything else, we don't really know what AI is. We don't really know what A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and G are. And we have to be careful still to stop kind of, even the AI, I really don't like what it's doing in our world. And yet we have to work out how to come above it and how to use it and how to listen to it and converse with it. So it's just that I'm very cautious about kind of printing a label because we don't have all the information yet. So we're very much in the age of opening the box and looking. Just wanted to put that in.
So if you're saying, go ahead, Dave.
Okay, well, you say that we're opening the box. We've opened the box before. And now my big question is, this is all happening right now. I don't want to make it a political conversation in the sense that the Democrats are done and their world is crashing down around them and Donald Trump is back. This is 2025 and I'm a technology guy and I'm learning all this technology that had to have come from somewhere eons ago. And I feel like every once in a while they toss us a little tidbit and I get to follow a few dots and learn something. And then, they say, shut up, David, and, pay attention and learn some more. Is that what's going on?
Sure. I mean, when I saw these fairy beings, at first I thought it was a fairy because I have, this nature affiliation. I looked at my piece of video. I looked at the stills. Thought, okay, that's amazing. That's interesting. The next time they showed up, I looked at my piece of video and the stills. It's like, F-U-C-K, that is a flying bike. So these were beings, several beings on a flying craft, coming through a dimensional interface to say hi to me because of the work I was doing, clearing the earth and working with earth energy. So look, this is another being that we're starting to become aware of. As far as I'm concerned, they're inner earth beings and they have technology. Of course they do. We would have much more technology if we were allowed to. All the patents that are shelved in the patent offices that are not allowed to ever see the light of day. My two uncles invented solar powered paving back in the 70s. If we'd laid that everywhere, we wouldn't pay a penny for our energy, so it's natural. We have to dismantle. We still have to do a lot of dismantling this year, taking the blinds away, taking everything that has prevented us from getting the knowledge. And we can access a lot more through our spirit. As if you keep yourself as pure as you can access.
Now you were saying the reptilians, and in my head it was making it sound like they were here to control us. Did we push them out underground just because they knew more than we did and we had to play that maybe we knew more than them? I mean, I'd like to go up to a reptilian and sit down and ask him, why are you underground? Why didn't you just push you underground? I'm sure I don't want to ask them that question because of the results.
Are you a dad?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Can you put yourself into that memory of they're your kids and they're trying out something. They're experimenting with something. You know very well that if you go in and give them all the answers, they're not going to take their experiment to their logical conclusion. They're not going to learn anything. Right. So you take yourself to the back where you can observe to check they're still, not breaking their legs or doing anything crazy.
Right.
That's very benevolent. But if you are a controller, let's just call them the reptoids, you're the controlling entity, but your kids are growing up because even though you've limited their toys, they are developing, they are evolving, they're getting more intelligent. But you don't want them to know you're looking at them. You've got to hide somewhere. So it makes sense that they're not in our plain visible view. They still have been holding the reins. That's what I would say.
Do they ever come back up or do they just stay underground? And I mean, pictures that I've seen, videos that I've seen of their reptilian underground world are cities that are more beautiful than anything we could probably ever build on Earth. But do they just stay underground until, for lack of putting it better, us, the humans above, destroy the planet and us, and then when we've done that, they'll come back up and enjoy this world that maybe like the Indians, we took away their world. Are they just going to stay? Are they just going to stay under until they extinct themselves, or will they at some point come back up and say to us?
Well, like Michael said, what do we want? What's the purpose? What's the end purpose? If you're a controller, what do you ultimately want? You want to remain a controller. So I would say they're the ones responsible for the denudation of the rainforests and the acidification of the rain and all the nasty stuff we see, because they want a certain environment to thrive in. If that was their aim, right? But in the earth, in this amazing entity known as Earth, there are not only reptilians, there are other frequency beings. There are many other different essences, and we're working just dimensionally separated from them. So it's kind of, yes, the reptilians may have beautiful cities under the earth. So does this guy that, Elfie, this Fae being, the inner earth being, ant person being, describe their cities. I've been drawing them. There's a lot of things going on, but there was something you said and I just lost it. But I just, we just got to be careful of simplification because it's a very complicated thing going on.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. There's been people questioning whether or not Elon Musk is human or not, but he has a love and desire for whatever reason to go to Mars. He mentioned on news broadcast where he will have a craft capable, I think he said in 4 years, that's going to be able to carry hundreds of people from Earth to Mars to start up a new colony there because he envisions this world's coming to an end. But then he also talks about the robots that he builds, the androids, the phenomenal creatures that he's building to have one in every household, and then they'll be priced accordingly. He has obviously his SpaceX program going on, and he talks about his experience with the Yetis and the Bigfoots. And he was asked about UFOs. Yes, he believes. He was also asked about the like I think Dave was alluring to the underground city in the Antarctic that was built, and he said, "Yes, I have a craft that's capable of flying that far that will go down into the city." And he describes the city. So, but then Michael warned me to be very careful because some of the things that are being aired are AI. They're CGI oriented, and I think we got to be very careful of what is real, what's not real. So, in that respect, of Elon Musk and everything that's mentioned, how much is that? Are you aware of? Is it real, or am I seeing CGI stuff being created?
Who's going to answer?
I don't know. I'll say this. You're asking if Elon Musk is, an alien or something else. You live in Pennsylvania. Look, why don't you go into the files under the University of Pennsylvania and see that he attended college there, as well as talk to some people in the city of Pittsburgh where he used to fraternize and enjoy his college days and so forth with people like Sheldon Cooper from the Big Bang Theory. I'm just saying as an example of how he, at a very young age, already knew his destiny of what he was going to do. He started from nothing and built himself into one of the hugest empires of, not just cash, but influence of technology. Just an amazing person. But if you look, you'll find out where he went to college, and I think that'll give you your answer in ways. Although one can say if technology is that good and if he's been an implant of a different civilization here as a guider, then maybe their technology is so far superb that we can't tell one from the other. And that's why shape-shifting also we hear a lot about with the reptilians and the draconians and so many other things. Do they all have the same capabilities? Maybe not. Also getting back to
Michael, can I just hold you on that shape-shifting thing? Because that was part of Dave's question. Have any of you three ever met someone you think was a reptilian in disguise as a human being? Because I have.
I'm going to piss off a lot of people, excuse my English, but I'm going to say that I actually think Donald Trump is part, or maybe more than part, reptilian, because you look at reptilian cities and you look at the New York skyline, which he built. I also wonder if Elon Musk is and left at a very young age, and the true mission of the Boring Company is to actually bore down deep enough for him to get home. And he will probably never come out publicly and say that, and I may be the biggest idiot for ever saying it, but I look at, he created this thing to dig way down into the earth. Is he trying to go, as well as trying to go back to Mars, which probably was home too, but Doctor, do you think he's trying to go home?
I would say that he knows pretty well where home is, and the ability to move through places of the earth is quite easy if you have the right key. It's just carefully hidden. The Radu Cinema books are excellent as a kind of journey into that world. No. But the this thing of, is he human? Is he something else? I personally think he's replaced. Because I also think he's there to bring in lots of different bits of information into our awareness, and that's why he's head of X, etc. And a lot of it's contradictory, but it's so that we're having these conversations. What is this? Does it exist? What's real? Do I want Neuralink? Do I want a robot in my house? No, thank you very much, personally. But I was sitting outside of TV studios in Berlin. I had some kind of audition or something, and this character, very, very well dressed, tall, lots of tall people in Germany. He was probably about 6'5", walked behind me, and I felt something weird. I don't know what it was. I turned around, looked, and followed him as he walked into this very swish headquarters of a TV studio. And he turned back and looked at me because he could feel that I could feel him. And it was horrible. It was chilling, horrible. Not a cool experience. And I knew he wasn't human. That was the end of that story. But that was very interesting, because then, of course, I subsequently read and heard many other people's testaments of this sort of interface. I've read, heard the Lasseter Chronicles, all sorts of things. So I think this ability to move through, it's not necessarily shape-shifting, it's just literally a kind of a dimensional masking that's put on through either a mental projection using the quantum field, because they have that technology, or it's a piece of technology. So the ways we are dealing with ever moving, everything is moving, and we have to just, what our job is to find the pieces of truth. Discernment, that is the only job. And you do that by being as clear and clean and pure as possible.
That's really interesting what you're saying about the your experience with this German in at studios, because every so often you'll see a video of someone freaking out, whether on a subway, or the most recent one was on an airplane, where this lady was sitting next to this guy, and she just totally freaked out, screaming, "He's not human! He's not human! Get him away from me! He's not human!" And of course, they escorted her off the airplane and said she was nuts. But I've been seeing a lot more of that, where people are saying, look at their eyes, their eyes reptilian, and so forth. Why are we seeing all? It's like Dave tried to ask earlier. Why are we seeing all this happening now? The UFOs, the drones, the orbs. All the activity of the Bigfoot, the guys in the backyard, or trees being torn apart because they're fighting and so forth. Why now are we seeing all this activity, not years ago?
Okay, I've got an analogy. I don't know if you ever spring clean your house, but when the sunlight finally shines in full into your room, whatever it is, and you go, oh my God, I didn't know I had that many spiders. You find spider webs where you didn't even know they could make them. And with that light, you can go and see them, identify them, you clear them out. This is where we seem to be. There's the new age thing of talking about light, more light coming in. But to be honest, there are myths for reasons. So something, whatever the Kali Yuga represents, the age of Aquarius represents, the so-called position of our planet within its galactic sphere, something has shifted so that the energy, we look at the Schumann resonance, whatever that is, we look at everything, and it has changed and increased. So there is a vibrational lightening up, more light in the room. So we're going to see the spiders and the cobwebs. So some of it's coming in our face to kind of like, here's a drone made by the deep state. We've had this technology for quite a long time. Oh, here's a different interdimensional being, and they're sort of looking at each other. We're getting all of it now because we can literally perceive and see it, because something has happened to the energy of our realm.
Just promise me that the spiders are friendly, because I hope so, because I have been terrified of them from a young age, and even at an old age, I still am terrified.
Do you
Sorry, I
ever
cut you off, Randy. Go ahead.
envision a time, as long as I'm alive, and I'm hoping for at least another 20 years, um, if I'm God willing. But do you foresee the spacecraft actually landing and them coming out and uh, uh, as ambassadors to their world, or do you see them coming back as an invasion force to take over our planet before we actually destroy it? Or do you not see them coming in force at all that will still get these little peekaboo kind of experiences, that keep us, on our feet and, cameras facing skyward?
I hope for the peekaboo, actually. I think that would be better because if there was an invading force, basically we would have been quite easy to conquer. And I think we have been conquered. That's the point. Humans were conquered a long time ago. So now we're trying to sort of get our freedom back because our consciousness is becoming more available to us. We only had a little bit of that intelligence, and now we're getting more. I'm talking about heart-centered, soul-centered intelligence, not brain power. So that's the alien invasion. Then there's oh, let's be an ambassador, let's say hi to you. And I think that would be great, but that's going to happen to the psychic sensitives. There are a few people like JP, Dr. Michael Sala interviews him a lot, who has a specific DNA which enables him to go on these trips into other dimensional realms. That's documented in the Radu Cinema books as well, where Cesar had specific kind of genetic makeup that allowed him to traverse over these dimensions, because it's quite harrowing on a physical body. So there will be people who are psychically sensitive. The communication, I think, will increase. If we have the spaceship landing on the White House lawn, I think that's a fake, because we are weak enough that we would have been dominated by a negative presence. If there is a power that wants to keep its control, it will appear like that, because most people don't realize yet they have been living in slavery. We who are waking up understand sovereignty is the key, and we're waking into freedom. So there are going to be a lot of different parallels. I hope we're going to keep getting peekaboo situation, increased communication, so that we wake to our own power, sovereignty, soul connection, intelligence, creativity, and we change it so that we're not dominated once again by, Big Daddy somewhere.
That's one way to look at it. I mean, but everyone's going to have, here's the thing, everyone's going to have a different view. Not everybody's aware enough or awake enough to accept everything that everybody's trying to bring forth, but that doesn't mean the mission's over. And I do agree 100% that something had transitionized us into a different new way forward from a certain time. That element of time for me is what correlates around informations and happenings that were going on in the United States that presented itself through other people and whistleblowers who came through and gave testimonials, wrote books, did lectures, speaking engagements, documentaries. Art Bell brought a lot of these people in, and it's, to me, that's very significant because it was one of the biggest disclosure platforms in the world, and still remains that if you go back and you want to know what time and information is truly about. So time doesn't really change as long as you can accept where the information is coming from. Whether someone's speaking about future elements of time, it still comes back into presence as information. And if you go back into past time, it still becomes, if you want to be awake enough to understand it, learn about it, hear it, and theorize it and research it yourself, come to the conclusion. But, as us as humans, we make mistakes, but we are not the ones destroying the planet. It's the leadership of the planet that's destroying the planet, and it's purposeful. So, I'm not saying us as humans don't have fault. and don't participate, sometimes throw a bottle into the water, and we shouldn't do things like that, but we learn. That's part of the life growing pains, the system of learning, and you will go through a struggle of pain. Even with that, you'll regret your actions later as you are more enlightened. Spiritually, you're going to need to be more open to be able to accept these things, because it does require one to do that. Fascinating stuff on what everybody's bringing forth here, the questions, as well as trying to answer questions. Doctors, hey, what can I say? You have a very graceful way of trying to, keep people within the realm of fact. And that's where I think we need to be. Put all the facts on the table, good debatable subjects that try to lead to more answers than questions, instead of having more questions than answers ever resolved. So, that's kind of like where I am in it. Even though I have like a lot of different outlooks in people, I don't do them because I have disrespect for anything. It's just I have that energy source. It's different. You might say I have 6 toes and 5 fingers. You're never going to know because you can't see them. But the fact is, if I say them, the possibility exists. And that's why we are where we are. We listen to what we learn. We listen to what has been given to us to guide us. I do believe that consciously there is something in control of the whole universal source thing. And perhaps ET is influencing definitely these things to be now come part more of us from within. So in ways, is it spiritual life? Is it a physical creation? These are some of the trap components, me personally, that I'm still trying to research to understand more. And I haven't gotten quite to all those points and places of it. Otherwise, that puzzle box that I showed you the other day, Doctor, would be all now in the computer and being sent off to somebody to start copying them. But my story's not over yet. And it's going to take a little bit more time with more research, beautiful people, beautiful content, and, just that door opening, as it does for all of us, to learn more. Because I think that's who we are. We have it's something we have that I don't think ET, they may understand it, but I don't think they feel it, is the typical senses and how important they really are. And that's why we may be important to them. Maybe that's part of the importance of the abductions and so forth, or, the future for what mankind is, or a reset of humanity that will then reoccur. But we do know every 5 to 10 years, impressively enough, factual information like this always resurfaces, and we are in that element. So I want to direct something to the doctor here. What do you think the planetary alignments are going to allow to come forth?
When do I think?
Yeah, what do you think on that? When we come into, what is it, on the 24th, we will have a direct planetary alignment of all the planet, all of our known planets that we were taught about, all come into the perfect alignment. Do you foresee something then? Is that going to be the time frame where the kickoff really starts disclosure?
I would just say I don't do astrology. I'm interested in it, but I do talk to the earth. She, for me, is a being, a very large one, but she's definitely a being. So if she is, it figures that all the planets are. Now, I can chat to myself on my own in my house, and I have one result. I can talk to my soul. I have another result. I can talk to you three. And we have a very different synergy. So what happens when all the planets line up? We're all in the same conference room. Something is going to happen. I don't know what. But if they and we, they are all living beings and they're getting together in a specific dance, something will arise from that.
Right. I'm hoping it's in a good way for all of us, is all. Because I see how things are reflecting a navigational system, time periods, clocks, no matter how you want to look at it, something of substance always seems to come about soon after.
There's a consciousness, isn't there, of being in a certain place and a certain.
Even government papers say that they believe
Yeah.
our Mother Earth is a consciousness of a being that we don't understand. Some call it Lilith, and the technologies are at the Alices of the chains to go out. The technologies. I don't know. I mean, I bring everything into perspective. Like as I said, I'm still caught between a few things. Not saying I disbelieve anybody's hypothesis, but just being able to come to my own conclusion of my analogies of understanding. And I think everybody needs
You were
that
talking
part.
about MK Ultra when I was just in the waiting room, and that's
Yeah, a little bit.
and the whole and you talked about the Beatles. MK Ultra and the Preston Nichols influence on through the Montauk Project on music was phenomenal, because they put certain frequencies to redirect our thoughts through the pop music industry. Very, very powerful tool, because they knew a little bit more about the quantum field in our consciousness than we did. But this is where we're catching up. Once we start to understand this innate power wired into our human souls through our bodies in this existence, that's when we start perceiving and changing everything differently. So just these small things of changing from us being, subjected to a consumer into someone who actually every thought has an energy, has a power. We change the world not just by which washing powder we choose, but how we think about the washing powder we've chosen. As soon as we start to understand this is where the actual energy of change lies, and more of us are getting this, we study consciousness, we study the quantum field, we study these phenomena. This is where this happens. And probably when those planets line up, that's like another opportunity, isn't it? Like, here it's shiny, I've got the sun pouring in, you can see all the cobwebs. It's one of those moments.
Yeah.
The pub you were talking about earlier, was that the Highwayman Inn?
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
I'll do some research on it. We're coming up on 11:11 our time frame, so are you restricted in time? So you go shortly. We don't want to hold you because you're on a different time frame than we are.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't actually started cooking my New Year's Day roast chicken.
Oh,
He's sitting in the kitchen yelling at me.
well then we'll let you go then. I don't want to hold you up.
And I actually got David Farman trying to get me to come on to something right now.
So it's
for
good time.
a conference
and,
coming on.
Doctor, I'm so glad you befriended me. Don't be surprised if I reach out to you from time to time.
Every day, will you be on the show? Will you be on the show? Don't get mad.
I like cooking.
When she can be there, she will.
Okay.
No, I won't be that desperate, but every now and then, if I find something interesting,
Please don't do that much.
But you are welcome anytime you want to. I have the right to say you're welcome to come on anytime you want, Doctor. Okay?
Thank you very much.
And if you want, all you have to do is message me and let me know that you want to come on, and we will always make room for you.
I will. When I have the next, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
When you have that next, I hope you think about coming and telling it to the world.
It'll be my honor.
In a box right here.
And then hopefully it's not those spacecrafts flying over our major cities with those beams that is going to destroy our world.
Well, the good news is that they may look all showy and fancy, but they really don't have much power compared to these other dimensional beings. That's why they keep so quiet in the background. Because you're worried about it.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Amy, I want to thank you for joining us today. And Professor Michael Anthony, I want to thank you for joining us today.
I guess I enjoy nuttery because I do come around. Hey, I like to support everybody. It's not the size of the platform. It's the information.
It's the size of the nut in the shell. Dave?
That's right. We only need one ear to hear us. That's it. One ear, and then the word can travel. It can expand upon. That is the universal beautiful. That makes beautiful.
Dave, you're in control.
Thanks to the three of you being here, one of my favorite memes still is live today. It says Dave knows everything, and when he doesn't, he makes stuff up. But usually I don't have to make stuff up because I can find people to fill the other 3 boxes that actually really know what we're talking about. So, Doctor, it was a pleasure having you on. And as I said, you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
You wish to
Happy
be
New Year.
Yes, same to you.
Yes, Happy New Year.
That's good. Now go cook supper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go cook supper because you can't have people angry that they didn't get their dinner.
Just throw her away. Why don't you?
No, I'm not throwing. I don't throw people
I
away
don't throw
anymore. They
myself
have to
out.
push their own camera
There's a
button
switch.
and turn it off.
Me,
Well,
there's
okay,
a
if you don't know how to
around
turn
it.
yourself out, then I
No.
will do it for you. But it's
Bye, hon.
okay. All right, thank you, doctor. It's rude to hit the button
Yeah.
and knock people out. And I only did it when it was an okay time to be rude because it was funny. But it was a very good show. I'm glad Dr. Isabel Amy came here. Make sure you look her up and read what you can. Talk to Michael, talk to Randy. If you talk to me, I'm going to tell you to talk to Randy or talk to Michael to get more information. Or try to track down the doctor. And
I want to try to throw something out to you guys. It's like this, we have a lot of wonderful people giving us great analogies and information. However, there is the other source of what goes on when you go into deep dive into the projects and all the bad influence things and so forth that we look at every day. And people just need to understand how the mechanism of the construction of that is in place, how it exists, why it exists. But again, I think, we as a civilization worldwide are now more than ever more open and in tune with the facts of everything. They will affect us. We will have to deal with things, no matter, even if we think spirituality will overcome. It will never overcome in a manner of a way when you're in the moment having to deal with certain subjects. However, finding your path the best way you can, navigating yourself using common sense, you'll be able to get through most of the majority of everything that will be thrown in our faces the next 4 years. Getting back a little bit to that part of it at the beginning, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot that I think is going to come out to be exposed. And will that be a spiritual awakening for us, or just the fact that we're going to awake in a physical manner? People are going to have to find out where they want to be on that side of the fence. And I try jumping on both sides, because if I don't, I'm not understanding the whole, informational type of scenario that we're dealing with. But, again, you can get lost within it because it's like the mind bender syndrome of the reality. And we're all going to question everything to beyond any part of this conversation. With that, I'm just going to say, if you guys want to go anywhere with this before I leave, whatever, I'll give you the floors to go back to you guys and conclude whatever conclusions you want to bring
I want
forward.
to talk to you in a planning realm somewhere, because I watched a video yesterday about Project Bluebeam, and it basically answers the question, as I've asked you a billion times: why do we have 9 million cellular phone towers literally sitting on top of each other here in the state of Florida? And we've discussed that answer, but it went on further to say, take your 5G phone and open it up. You're going to find out most likely there's no 5G chip in there. So I have to talk to you to get the next dots to follow to learn that technology. We were all tripped into thinking that we needed to buy a 5G phone because it's the next step up from 4G. And is it really still a 1G phone with a fancy 5 and a G on it? But
pretty much. It's how the reader and the creator behind the apps interfere with the logic. And that's why you need something what's called expansion memory.
Okay, so you set me on a course of I have to read and learn.
Expansion memory. Expansion memory card. Your phone will work better if you plug it into something that you can store memory in.
Yes. My brain would probably work
I
better.
promise you. Which it's a proof of what I just said. Plug your phone into something that it allows you to create its source to become larger. Watch how it reactivates what's in there.
My brain would probably do better if every night when I went to sleep I could plug it into something.
Talk to Elon. He has those chips now.
Let it take out. I'm on the fence, but we can talk about the chip.
So let's end it with this. Elon Musk. He has so much going on that's all space oriented. And again, Michael, it's like you said, you got to be careful of the CGI recreation of the videos when he talks about, the grays, the blues, the whites, the reptilians, the Antarctic underground city, his spacecraft that can fly so fast that you need that to get to the Antarctic city. He's talking about building his own spacecraft to fly to Mars, to colonize Mars because Earth is coming to an end. And he wants to try and save as many people as he can. And just the fact that, let me ask you, how much of what he does, his creations, are creations from his own mind, or just from the fact that he has the ability to pay shitload of money to people who are just as intelligent as he is? So how much of it is his, and how much of it belongs to engineers, scientists he's actually paying for?
Well, there's no way to ever know the truth of that. But I mean, he's done a phenomenal job with his outlook and his determination with technology. And again, if you put yourself in a state of mind where an objective is at the other end, you're going to do exactly what he does. And that represents him well. He fills in the center blank and it gets done. Now, where does this come from? Where did the ideas come from? I would guess you have to go back to what best gave him or what best intrigued him to go on this journey, this path of this technology. But where did it come from? Has he been given special documents at some point in time? It's very possible, especially as he was achieving more and more and more and more and getting governmental contracts and being brought in and read into certain things that we don't know about. I would say there's probably been a briefcase full of information that somehow miraculously landed on his desk. So, were the scientists just as important bringing their ideas to work with him? Of course they are. That's the same it works when you're having a great podcast and you have a debate and everybody can theorize and answer the way they want. When you work together with people like that, you will achieve. And he has done it in many good ways. But when you look at some of the CGI, the false information, the recreations, like him sitting with a robotic looking Trump's daughter and kissing it on a subway or wherever the hell that was. I mean, come on. There's a lot of implant bad information, just fake everywhere around. So you got to look at everything, watch it 2-3 times, if not 10 times, and get the information out. And then, you can either check it off as positive or exit off as negative. So, I think he works the same way around everything he's done. But I do, and I was the one that said that Elon Musk said that every household into the future will probably own one of these synthetics, whatever you want to call them, intelligent, without the human senses, but the compassion of understanding. That's where technology is, what Elon Musk is trying to achieve here, where things become part of thought, because thought is part of senses. And anything you create through man's hands not going to have it. But if you can supersede the technology of the AI and somehow place that in the component of these super advancements of AI technologies, then they will become more domesticated in a way that matches up to us. But they will never be us. They will have sensors that will initially tell them something's burning, There's things you can implant into artificial intelligences and robotics that can, in ways, mimic certain things, but will never give them a naturalization of what the human body experiences.
Yeah.
So is it almost like the reptilians were here to control us, and someday, at some point in time, we will control?
I'm really worried about the AI. I mean, I really am, because right now we've already given AI over as a power component in this country to handle military, policing. And, I put up videos about this where there was an interview going on with a young man who was allowed to come in behind the scenes of I don't remember the city. I apologize for that. But the post is up there. And he gave this young gentleman a thorough interview about how sophisticated the system already is. People can't even imagine how close they're getting to looking right through our windows from police camera systems now too.
Right.
And they are that close. They are monitoring things in a way that human people, we're not built to do it, but technology surpasses us that way. We have things over them. Technology has things over us.
I mean, look at the, right now you don't necessarily have the physical android or robot in our house, but look how many homes have Alexa and the smart house hooked up to where you can turn on your coffee pot, turn on your TV, turn on your shower, lock the doors, turn on, essentially we have a robot at our grasp, which is not the physical thing. It's not going to walk your dog or, walk your baby or whatever, or, clean and cook, but it's getting closer. I mean, it's the smartphones. It's the smart refrigerators. You're out of the grocery store and, oh, damn, what do I need? And you can access your refrigerator. Your refrigerator tells you what you have,
Are you really going to need the Android, or will the 5G chip suddenly appear in your phone and you'll be able to tell everything in your house what to do?
Yeah.
It's already there. Yeah. That's what smart technology is.
No, I know. It is. It is.
I mean, you have vacuums that'll turn on and start sweeping your house for you. You know what I mean? You have camera doorbells. You have everything that's been implanted smart as a technology to spy on you. So it's under the Patriot Act. I mean, I'm sorry, Obama.
No, I know.
Evolutionary change. We go
through the debate. Yeah. There's still the debate that at the end of the broadcast, when I unplug my mic and throw it in a drawer and close the lid on my laptop, it's still listening. It's still watching. I've watched countless videos. I can't even tell you how many that camera right there that I think is the only camera is not the only camera there.
No, there are watchers, and that's where when I say that we are dealing with other things worldly but not worldly that are actually monitoring our every move, as well as physical and non-physical components. When AI recognizes something, it doesn't need you to tell them it. They will report it on you.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's part of what it is, controlling the population through technologies, which furthers you into slavery, the system of the taxation without tax. It's an invasion of privacy all the way around. So, these are things that are going to become more prevalent into the future. And you know what? There's going to be no drastic change to any of this, even under the Trump administration. We need for some reason, and Trump has always backed this and backed Elon Musk for futuristic plans of, technologies. Why is the big question? It's not because of ET contact, or could it be a possibility of it? Is it for protecting humanity? Because of something that could possibly come here and invade us? We're not
that's why I'm surprised that with everything that Elon Musk has going on with his spacecrafts, why Trump has not yet put him in control of SpaceX, which I thought was designed to protect our country, our planet, from an other world attack.
Why do you have to put somebody in place who created it?
Right. Well, the idea I think Randy is thinking that if Elon Musk created all of that or a good portion of Space Force, that maybe that's what he meant. But I want to hear you, because the only thing I want to hear you not say is that we could take an android force and have it run Space Force, which probably is, to my chagrin, probably being run a lot by that and reporting to humans as it is right now anyway. But I think humans aren't quite ready to hear the truth, if that is what the truth really is.
Well, look into Project Aladdin.
Okay.
That might help you a little bit too. Now, this is part of the sophistications of naming quantum system computers. You also have the new quantum under Elon Musk. I forget what it's called. Begins with a C. What they named it. Google has the new one called Willow.
Yep.
You have what people look as Lilith and Ellis's children. These are the other parts of the technology. They have nothing to do with these tires, as you brought up earlier in the thing, and Dave, you brought that up before, but thank you for doing it, because these are towers that have that can create other problems. That they were built to significantly change and modify systems of this natural planet into a technology planet. And you pointing at your head, yes.
I'm playing at my head because even in my demented state, they're playing with my brain. They're playing with your brain. They're playing with our brains. And even if it's so
they are
minimal
it's
now,
the trap every time you come on here. Even
that's what I gotta get going, guys. We've been on here for an hour and a half. Michael, thank you for joining us. Excellent communication. A lot of comments in the comment section that were really good too. And I thank the doctor for joining us. She really,
Dr. Amy's great.
She brought some more things to light that is scary. It's also impressionable. Also something I guess to look forward to in one respect. And I'm kind of half concerned about, the next time I smell my mom's cigarette smoke or her perfume or she calls my name, I'm kind of a little bit hesitant to say, "Mom, is that you?" No, I am.
All right. I get it. But you know what? It doesn't hurt to try.
I guess I'm the wrong guy, Randy, because I want to tell you that if she's coming to you and she's always angry, she's coming to you and she's always angry because you don't listen to her.
Yeah.
The one time you sit down and let her, if she's going to rag on you for however many years old she is, give her the time, give her the opportunity to do it. Let her rag, don't interrupt her like I do. Just give her the time to let her get it all out. And then maybe it'll be great.
That's something, that's something to think about. I got to go.
Well, all right, Randy. Always a pleasure. All right. And
Dave, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bail on you.
You said that someone else wanted you to be on, and I don't want to make you late.
There's something else going on through one of the conferences. I know it was for today or 11 o'clock. I don't know. So I'm going to go and check in on that.
Go check in on that. Get it posted. Michael Anthony, you see him all over Facebook. Go to his page. If you have to, go to his page, message him, and ask him about Oracle Talk Radio, and just get the information when he's there, and and watch, and you'll learn. There are a lot of videos. If you go way back in the Michael Anthony page, you will find that are informative as well as entertaining, and you should do it. I tell people, don't get to the point where you only just watch one of us thinking that we know it all, because like I said, that's my favorite meme. Dave knows everything, and when he doesn't, he makes something up fast, and I do sometimes. I do a lot. Definitely enjoyed having Dr. Amy Isabel with us today. You can take a look around on Facebook. I don't know if you can find anything on Facebook. You may have to plug it into your search engine and go read whatever you find on the doctor and learn from there. Because I will say, happy 2025. I hope you learned from 2024 that Facebook is not the beginning and end of your social media experience. There is a whole new world with other websites and other social media networks and this and that. And you just got to go look at all of them and, throw your hook in the water of conversation and see what happens. If you like the X format, but you don't like how X works, go to Threads. That's Meta's version of X, and you'll find a lot of the blue side of X that left X because they felt they weren't getting treated properly by the red side. I don't care. I tell people when it comes to Threads, when it comes to X, when it comes to Blue Sky, when it comes to this one, when it comes to that one, I want to be everywhere and I want to talk to everybody and hopefully try to gain some knowledge before I make any decisions that I have to make. I don't want to just hear from one person. Well, it's wrong because I say it's wrong. You don't want Elon Musk to have anything to do with the government. Well, personally, I do want Elon Musk to have something to do with the government. Donald Trump asked him with Vivek Ramaswamy to create this thing called DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Department of Government Efficiency. Well, I've been saying to people lately, Elon Musk pays $10 billion a year in taxes to the federal government. He is the largest single individual taxpayer to the United States federal government. Very wealthy businessman, so that doesn't mean that the entire $10 billion is being paid. But wouldn't you want a guy who, in theory, pays the most to go through the government for you and help find ways that we are not efficient so that it lowers your taxes? I mean, I would think that you would. Me, I don't really care one way or the other. My income is paid through the federal government and it's not taxable. So, aside from gas for the cars or gas on food or meals tax that we pay when we go out somewhere, those things can't be avoided. If you're going to drive a car that runs on gas, you're going to pay a gas tax. I did hear, so pay attention. I did hear that President Biden and some people within the Biden regime were hoping to slip in something like 80 cents more on the federal gas tax, because maybe they keep hearing that Trump is going to increase oil production here in the States and gas is going to flow wholeheartedly and we're not going to be buying foreign oil anymore. I don't really care what the reason is anymore, but it's absolutely ridiculous that we need to pay 80 cents more than whatever we're paying for gas. And on your $9 Starbucks latte, if you want one, get out of bed and go buy one. I don't. I'm very happy. My wife, Donna, makes my 30 ounces of coffee every morning when she has time. And, we drink Maxwell House in this house. We use the generic creamer, Great Value, because Donna, it's a great value, and Donna wants to buy it because it's less than Coffee Mate. Unfortunately, I grew up in my father's house where it was name brands. If my father wanted Coffee Mate, he told my mother, and that's what she bought, or he just went to the store and bought Coffee Mate. So the name brands were what, a lot of the time we were raised on. But anyway, they're all the same anyway, realistically. Robin Brunson is watching near the end. Rob Prusak is watching, And Dr. Craig Peterson was watching, a world-renowned Facebook child psychologist, along with his mother, Marilyn, who was also a world-renowned child psychologist. One of these days, we're going to get the Petersons on, or just get Craig on, and turn him loose on the brains of the adult children that are on the broadcast. Watch the broadcast. Dr. David Novar, a computer technician and a very good one, was watching, and I see that seems to be all of it, other than Janice E. Rolofson. I hope I said that right. Janice E. Rolofson was watching. The ones that are watching, I'm always going to just say your name, welcome you to watching, but it's more fun if you come into the live chat on Facebook and on my profile and take part in the live chat there. It's the most active live chat of anywhere on Facebook. Why? Because it's the only one on Facebook that I monitor. And the only other live chat we have is if you're watching on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Unfortunately, technology has not gotten to a point where the Facebook live chat and the YouTube live chat can be synced into one thing so everybody sees it. Maybe one day that technology will flow and every live stream service will have it. But like I said, it is 2025. Go out there and make it a great year. I hope it's a better year than 2024 was for you and your families. And on that note, you've been watching Boogie with the Bull. We used to call it Wednesday Morning Caffeine. Now I'm just calling everything Boogie with the Bull Uncensored, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. If there was something you disagreed with, you didn't like, please let me know, or put it in the comments, or let everybody know, and even come on the broadcast and let me know, because I will try my best to make you happy and want to watch, and other people happy and want to watch and share. William Grant is the last person to come in and say, have a great day, Dave. I will try very hard, William. Tonight is Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, downstairs on the American Rebellion blogger page, here on Facebook, somewhere over on Rumble, and somewhere over on X. You can watch it as well. Again, I think you should watch it on the American Rebellion blogger page here on Facebook. I can never tell you who's going to be there. Jerry Michaels is always there. Nikki Young usually is there. Lately, I've been there. Chuck Cook is there. Randy Rhodes is sometimes there. Jen Woodruff is sometimes there. Robert Lawless, the Minnesota Madman, along with his wife Jamie in the background, are on. If you come into the live chat and you watch the broadcast, 9 out of 10 times, if you tell Jerry you really want to come on, he'll send you the link and put you on. If you do, please behave. Everybody tries to respect everybody. Yeah, sometimes there's some yelling and screaming at people, but you know what? At the end of the day, we all love each other, and we come back the next time and do it again. So catch the American Rebellion on the American Rebellion blogger page tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, Rumble, X, and wherever else you might see it. I got to go because I did not feed the dog and the cat before we went live this morning, because I wasn't sure how long we were going to be live. And thank everybody for watching. So Double B's for Victory, this Boogie with the Bull broadcast, the first of 2025, is coming to an end. I hope there are many more at times that are convenient for everybody to watch. Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m., Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. And like I said, the American Rebellion, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. You can usually see me on at least 4 of them, if I can. Maybe not. Anyway, go out there and make it a great day. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic year. And